What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Life Advice with Hunter. This is the show where I sit down with you guys and we read some questions from viewers just like you, and we talk about mental health and well-being. And this week, we're actually not reading a question because I want to just talk about something that happened today. So I am recording this on Sunday, and I want to talk a little bit about standing up for yourself and not being a doormat. And partially because I talked about this in the last video and you guys really enjoyed it, and also because of something that happened today, not to me personally, but to a friend of mine. So it's Sunday, and it's week 4 of the NFL season, meaning that me and the boys got together and we watched some goddamn American football, all right? Now, for some of you that are new, I'm a Bears fan. I know it's devastating. I'm a Bears and a Lions fan. I grew up in Michigan and I live in Chicago. So, you know, I'm a Lions and Bears fan at heart. But anyway, so every Sunday, me and the boys get together. We usually go out and have a couple beers and enjoy the Bears. And today, I was meeting up with one of my friends at his apartment building. And I can't get into his building without being checked in. So I'm just kind of standing in the lobby, right? And he's kind of running late, and like just a couple minutes. But I'm like, where the hell is this guy? You know, it's like you know, you said you were almost ready, whatever. So I'm standing there, and then he comes down. I'm like, bro, like, what took you so long? And he was like, bro, I was standing there waiting for the elevator, and my floor was packed, trying to wait for the elevator. And the first time, I just stepped back and waited because it was full. And then the second time, somebody cut in front of me that got there about 30 seconds before me. So then I had to take the third one. Now, some of you may notice, why the fuck didn't you call the second guy, or, you know, the second elevator out? You know, like, hey, I've been waiting. Let me on the fucking elevator first. You know, there's plenty of room, but like, it's not fair to be like, hey, I you know. So I straight up told him right then and there, I'm like, bro, you got to stick up for yourself more. And he is somebody that has trouble with that. So I want to talk about that a little bit today, because there was a time too in my life where I wasn't very good at sticking up for myself. And at times I'm still not. But I want to talk about that. So, you know, for me, I was somebody that always had a bit of social anxiety, and I still do to some extent. You know, it's one of those things that necessarily never goes away. You just kind of learn to cope with it. And you know, so when I was younger, especially, I had a problem with sticking up for myself. And I've talked about this before, you know, but for some of you who are new, I don't mind telling you. I am visually impaired. I am legally blind. I was born with a condition known as optic nerve hypoplasia. That's basically the nerves in the back of your eye. Mine don't work correctly. Mine are really thin. Think of like a wire to your iPhone, except mine are really thin. So like it's I'm not getting a proper signal. And so because of that, there was a lot of people that would doubt me. And you know, clearly, I'm pretty good at what I do. You know, and I've had people doubt me in this space. I've had people doubt me in my college life. I had people doubt me in my high school life. I had people doubt me at work, right? I had these people that would think that, oh, he can't do anything, or he's not like us, right? He can't perform to the same level as us, right? And I get treated differently. And when I was younger, I just put up with it. But as I got older, I learned to prove people wrong and to stick up for myself. And one of the big things is that when I was in high school, is when I really got fascinated with broadcasting, which is what I'm studying in college. And so for me, I kind of decided that I really wanted to be at the front and center. And I kept kind of telling my teacher that, hey, I really want to be at the front and center. I want to be more involved, right? And I was just kind of be putting on editing projects. And I wasn't really doing much. I wasn't out in the field recording stuff. And so one day, I decided, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And what I did was I just straight up got in front of our camera and just recorded a segment. And it was a segment that I was happy with. It was a segment just about pop culture stuff going on. At the time, Kanye was releasing Donda. So it was a big time, and I was very good at it. And the reason why I did that is because I learned before that I need to stick up for myself. Because the thing is that if you let people doubt you, they will doubt you. If you let people push you around, they will push you around. It doesn't matter what job you have. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't fucking matter. You have to give off this sort of vibe that you're not going to be pushed around, that you're not somebody to fuck with, right? And the reason, and I'm not saying like, oh, you need to give off this impression that you want to fight everybody. You need to give off this impression that you're not just going to stand by and let people tell you how to feel, how to do shit, right? And it's a really important thing to learn, and like, I can tell you what, man, as somebody with a disability, you deal with organizations and people that are supposed to help you and shit like that, and they just won't. And you need to be open. You need to be vicious. And I mean this in every aspect of your life, and especially at work, man. You need to learn to be vicious, because if you're not the vicious person, you're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to be the person that moves on. You're not going to be the person that becomes level middle management. You're not going to be that person. And I wouldn't be in my job position if I wasn't bold and if I wasn't able to stick up for myself, and I'm always somebody that always tells people that they need to stick up for themselves, because it's easy to be the quiet guy and sit back and let the world fly by and let people make decisions for you. No, man, you need to be able to take control. And I think one of the best ways of doing that is starting off small, taking control of small aspects of your life. Like when your girlfriend asks you, where do you want to eat? Don't go, I don't care, or anything like that. Just straight up pick. Same thing with movies. If you and your boys are deciding where you want to go eat, or decide what movie you're going to see this weekend or whatever, just fucking be honest and tell them, hey, this is what we're doing, right? And you got to say it with confidence. You got to be able to stick up for yourself and be honest, right? Because the more that you sit back and watch shit happen in your life, the harder it is to get better at it. And I like the idea of just being able to say, I'm deciding where we're eating tonight, as a good starter point. It's just kind of a way to be able to really be honest and open, and an easy way to practice. And I think that you can practice this in a lot of different aspects in your life. I think that calling out somebody for cutting in front of you or doing something small that's annoying or something like that at work or at school is helpful. I honestly think that calling people out at school might be a good option. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean being a dick and calling somebody stupid. But like, let's say you're working on a group project and somebody just isn't pulling their weight. Call them out on that shit. All right? Because it's going to reinforce that they need to pick up their slack, and it also helps you reinforce that you need to be able to express yourself, be able to expose how you're feeling. Because if you don't, you just basically don't work that part of your brain. And your brain gets complacent with being a doormat, being something that someone can step on, right? And I mentioned that people will be able to notice that. Your boss is going to be able to notice if he can push you around and tell you to stay late, all right? And you're going to tell him, fuck you. I'm not doing it. Not literally, of course, but like, you're going to be like, no, I can't. You know what I mean? And I've learned to do that. I've learned to gotten better at this, because I can tell you what, at my first job, dude, when I was working at Subway, I was a fucking pussy all the way. I was all for my boss bossing me around. I was all for, customers always right bullshit, this type of shit, right? And you got to learn to fucking push that shit aside. Like, the sooner that you realize that shit, the easier life gets. And the sooner that you realize that people will push you around when they get the chance, when they have power, the sooner that you realize to wake the fuck up. And, I really, really recommend you just start with the small shit in your life. And that's kind of what I told him. I was like, bro, like, I understand there's a difference between being nice and then just letting people push you around, right? Because that person that cuts in front of you to get in the elevator before you is not thinking that like, oh, I'm that guy was being nice. That guy's thinking, yeah, I got in here before him, right? Unless there was a conversation between you two where you were like, no, just go in front of me. You know what I mean? That's different. But if you just straight up tell a guy, hey, if you just tell a guy, hey, sorry, dude, I was here first. I'm getting in there first. Like, just don't be afraid to call people out. People need it. And I feel like we live in a society right now where people are afraid to call other people out, and you shouldn't be. You should be able to be open and tell people how you feel. You really should, because it's important. You need to be able to tell people when you're uncomfortable. You need to be able to tell people when you're mad about something. You need to be able to tell people these things, because when you don't, you fall behind and you really like just look like an ass that can be taken advantage of. And it's not an excuse for you to not be nice. I don't want to get that twisted. I'm nice to people all the time. even today when I was getting a drink during the game, you know, I let somebody go in front of me. You know why? Because I'm a nice guy. I'm not saying that you need to be a dick to people. And I don't want to get that misconstrued. There's a difference between sticking up for yourself and telling people how you feel than not. Right? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of guys, when they get in relationships and shit like that, they will let a girl run their life. And you fucking can't do that. Not just for yourself, but for the guys around you, for your mental health, for a lot of different shit, for your family. You can't let a girl run your life, and you can't let a guy run your life either. Nobody should run your life. The only person that should run your life is you. You are in charge of who you are as a person. You are in charge of who you are, what you eat, what you drink, what your job is, when you sleep, when you wake up. We are in charge of every single aspect of that life. And just because we have control over some of it doesn't mean that we can just let some of that control go to the wayside. That doesn't mean that I get to let people push me around because I decided that I was going to have a salad for lunch today, right? That doesn't mean that you get to just watch your life fly by. You need to take control of your life. And part of that, I do feel, is being able to stick up for yourself and be honest and tell people when they are being a dick and when they are pushing the boundaries of what they should be doing. But, you know, I just kind of wanted to hop on and talk about that today. But anyways, I want to say thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. As always, you can submit your own questions for these videos down in the description via a Google form found in the description. It's anonymous, all that great stuff. But anyways, I'm just, you know, enjoying Black Ops 2 again, playing some zombies. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, do not let people step all over you. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Bears. Peace.